Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us in our seminar or our seminar presentations this morning. We're in week 12, and our topic is topic 5, transnational crimes in PNG, which is our final case study for this unit, PG 420, international and regional security. So for this session, we have three presenters will be representing the groups, Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. So without further delay, I hand over the virtual microphone to Fiona, and Tanika will be representing the group number 2. Please, Tanika, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Yegiora. So our question for Group 2 is, the index highlights the role of state-embedded actors in facilitating organized crime. How does this form of criminality undermine PNG's ability to implement effective blue security policies as discussed by Yegiora, and what governance reforms are needed to address these challenges? So firstly, state-embedded actors would refer to officials or institutions that collude with or protect organized crime, pose a serious obstacle to Papua New Guinea's ability to implement effective blue security policies, which Yegiora frames as strategies to safeguard maritime resources, sovereignty, and regional stability. And their involvement undermines governance in several ways. So how does state-embedded criminality weakens blue security? One, when government officials are seen to protect or work with criminal groups, people start to lose faith in the system. Once that trust is gone, it becomes much harder for states to enforce laws or get public support for security policies. And number two, organized crime doesn't operate in isolation. It often feeds off key sectors like fisheries, logging, and maritime trade. So when the state turns a blind eye, or worse, when the state participates, it enables illegal activities that damage PNG's marine resources and long-term sustainability. Thirdly, even the best designed blue security strategies won't work if the people responsible for enforcing them are compromised. So corruption can mean leaked information, stalled investigations, or even selective law enforcement that benefits criminal networks instead of stopping them. And fourth, PNG sits in a strategically important part of the Pacific, but weak enforcement, especially when influenced by criminal ties, leaves it exposed. Issues like illegal fishing, drug trafficking, and human smuggling become harder to control, and this can weaken the country's reputation and trust in regional security partnerships. I'll leave it over to Fiona to talk about the governance reforms that are needed.
Thank you, Tanika. So now to answer question 2, what governance reforms are needed to address these challenges? Yegiora 2024 emphasizes that blue security requires strong, transparent governance. So to counter embedded criminality, reform should include one of the first steps to take is to strengthen oversight, independent anti-corruption bodies that actually have the power to investigate and prosecute can hold state actors who are involved in these crimes accountable instead of letting misconduct slide. So example of this organization in PNG would be ICAC, Independent Commission Against Corruption, and Ombudsman Commission. Secondly, a fair and independent judiciary is just as important. Courts need to be protected from political pressure so they can properly deal with cases where officials are working with organized crime. So when courts are independent, even powerful people can be held accountable, not just low-level offenders. There's also a need to build real capacity in maritime enforcement, investing in the Coast Guard, customs, and fisheries monitoring systems. It helps reduce dependence on local actors who may sometimes be compromised. Yes. And increasing transparency can make a big difference also. Systems like open procurement or electronic governance, e-governance, and public reporting create fewer opportunities for corruption to take root in the first place. Example, publishing fishing license agreement online would allow the public to see which companies are allowed to operate. So in that way, it reduces secret deals, which is about to happen. Or using e-governance systems like digital payments and records. It can reduce cash bribes in licensing or customs processes. That's for transparency. Finally, a stronger regional cooperation matters. Working closely with Pacific neighbors and international partners improves intelligence sharing and joint enforcement, making it harder for criminal networks to take advantage of the weak points. Example, Australia supporting PNG with maritime surveillance under programs like the Pacific Maritime Security Program, including patrol boats and aerial surveillances. That is regional cooperation. So yes, all I have mentioned are governance reforms that are needed to address organized crime. So in summary, when criminal activity is embedded within the state, it quietly undermines PNG's entire blue security agenda. So without serious reforms that tackle corruption and strengthen institutions, maritime security policies risk looking good on paper but failing in practice. So to fix this, there is a need for stronger, more transparent and accountable governance systems, not just better policies, but better implementation as well. So thank you. That's the end of our presentation.
Thank you very much, Fiona and Tanika, for sharing with us your answer to the assigned questions and question, and we also thank your group as well. We now move on to the next group. Group 3 will be represented by Anton and Titus. Please, gentlemen, go ahead. Virtual microphone is yours. After Group 3, after Anton and Titus, we'll have Fidelis representing Group 1.
Good morning, once again, Mr. Yegiora and fellow classmates. On behalf of Group 3, me and Anton will present. So without further delay, I'll just move straight into the presentation. So the statement reads, both the index and Yegiora's blue security framework stress the need for regional responses to transnational threats. How can PNG leverage its partnership with neighboring Pacific states to combat organized crime in its maritime domain? And what role does blue security play in fostering such collaboration? So I'll be answering the first question, and Anton will answer the second question and summarize everything. So moving on to the introduction, both Index and Yegiora's blue security emphasize about transnational crime in the maritime borders of Papua New Guinea. So transnational crimes such as arms smuggling, illegal fishing, human trafficking, and drug trafficking cannot be addressed without the cooperation. So PNG sits on the sea line and shares maritime borders with other Pacific Island countries. So regional control is very paramount to maritime governance. How can PNG leverage its partnership with neighboring Pacific states to combat organized crime in its maritime domain? So PNG can partnership with other Pacific Island countries in several ways to combat transnational crime. So first one is regional mechanism. Second one is bilateral and mini-regional security partnership with other Pacific Island neighbor countries for law enforcement. And the third one is regional institutions. So regional mechanism, PNC can strengthen maritime security through cooperative surveillance with intelligence at the regional level, such as Pacific Islands Forum of PIF, Boy Declaration, and Transnational Organized Crime Disruption Strategy that can support the border criminal networks. So joint patrols, information fusion centers, and shared maritime domain awareness system can improve interdiction capacity while reducing resource burdens on PNG. It's according to Pacific Island Forum Secretariat 2020 and Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade 2024. The bilateral and unilateral security partnership with other Pacific Island neighbor countries for law enforcement. PNG can deeply strengthen its bilateral and unilateral partnership with other Pacific Island countries enforcing the law, provide legal training, and minimize the organized crimes. So collaborative initiatives must be taken, particularly to discuss the important issues addressing the maritime crimes. The Blue Pacific approach reinforces this by framing security as collective stewardship rather than isolated national defense, according to Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat 2018. Moving on to regional institutions, PNG can use regional institutions building the operational capacity such as Pacific Fusion Center, policy cooperation, and maritime exercises that can critically respond to organized crimes quickly. So this align with the index emphasis on network regional responses to transnational threats and organized crime exploits governance gaps between jurisdiction, according to Australian Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. So moving on with the presentation, what role does Blue Security play in fostering such collaborations? Blue Security plays pivotal role fostering collaborations, conceptualizing maritime security as Blue Security plays pivotal role fostering collaborations, conceptualizing maritime security as ocean-centered, cooperative, and multidimensional. Blue Security links to defense, law enforcement, sovereign protection, and regional solidarity among Pacific Island countries. In practice, this helps PNG frame organized crime as a shared regional challenge requiring full civilians burden shaping and trust building among Pacific states. This is quoted from Yegiora 2024. Blue Pacific Security also supports security partnership where locals can take ownership to cooperate under the Pacific norms. Blue Security contributes normatively and institutionally. Normatively, promoting the Pacific identity, encouraging Pacific states to act responsibly on the maritime domain. Institutionally, it strengthens collaborative platforms under the Bow Declaration and 2025 strategy for the Blue Pacific that integrate transnational crime into a broader regional security agenda. Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat 2018. That's quoted from the Pacific Islands Forum Secretary 2018 and Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat 2024. Through this lens, PNC can combat organized crime not simply by increasing national enforcement but by embedding maritime security within cooperative Pacific security architecture. So, in conclusion, PNG can combat transnational crime through Pacific partnership building regional mechanisms, bilateral and multilateral law enforcing units, and regional institutions to strengthen its capacity. Blue Pacific play a significant role normatively and institutionally, fostering the collaboration for the Pacific Island countries combating organized crimes. Thank you. That's the end of our presentation, and here is the reference.
All right, thank you, Tatus, and thank you, Arthur, for representing your group, for sharing with us your answer to the assigned question. We will now move on to the final presenter for the session, Fidelis, representing Group 1. Fidelis, if you are ready, please go ahead with your presentation. Right.
Okay, once again, good morning, Mr. Yegiora and the fellow online learners. Our Group 1, I will be representing Group 1 for our presentation. So, our question, according to Global Organized Index, high level of criminality in countries like PNG are exacerbated by limited resilience to transnational crime. How do these vulnerabilities, particularly in maritime zones, intersect with Yegiora's emphasis on blue security? And what measure can PNG take to enhance its maritime security against organized crime such as illegal fishing and organized smuggling, etc.? So the statement reads, the Global Organized Crime Index is a tool developed by the Global Initiative Against Organized Transnational Crime that assess the nature and extent of organized crime in countries based on criminal markets and enabling factors such as governance, resilience, and state capacity. According to the Global Organized Crime Index 2023, Papua New Guinea scored a high in several criminal markets, including illegal logging, wildlife crime, and illegal fishing. These are driven by the key enablers such as limiting state capacity, corruption, weak jurisdiction, justice system, and geographic vulnerabilities like maritime zones. So our question is, how do these vulnerabilities, particularly in maritime zones, intersect with Yegiora's emphasis on blue security? So basically, Papua New Guinea maritime zones are difficult to monitor, which allow illegal fishing, smuggling, and other crimes to happen more easily, especially in remote ocean areas. The Blue Security Framework emphasizes that security is not just about land and military. It also includes the ocean and every happenings to it and ways to protect, especially PNG ocean resources and maritime borders from the threats. So, Yegiora's idea stated that big control over maritime zone is a security issue, not just an environmental or an economic problem. This means that the risk is in PNG Ocean, such as illegal fishing and smuggling, are exactly the kind of threats blue security is designed to address through better monitoring, stronger law, and improved enforcement. It also shows the need for PNG to treat its ocean as part of its national security, ensuring its border, resource, and people are protected. So, what measures can PNG take to enhance its maritime security against organized crimes such as illegal fishing and organized smuggling? In the context of Papua New Guinea, PNG challenges such as illegal fishing and smuggling demonstrate the need for a coordinated blue security approach to enhance maritime security. PNG can, firstly, strengthen its maritime domain awareness through improved surveillance system, patrolling, and information sharing, aligning with Yegiora's embassy on monitoring and early detection of sea-based threat activities. The second one is build institutional capacity of maritime agency through training and resources reflecting the need for stronger governance system, and also reform legal framework to close enforcement gaps and ensure effective prosecution for those organized crimes. Also promoting regional and international cooperation as transnational crime require coordinated response across Pacific Islands. engage local communities in reporting and co-managing marine resources, and adopt a all-of-government approach, ensuring coordination across all sectors involved in maritime security. So to conclude, PNG crime vulnerabilities are closely linked to weak governance, limited maritime monitoring, and low resilience to transnational crimes. This issue aligns with the Blue Security Framework, which emphasizes integrated, cooperative, and sustainable approach to maritime security. By strengthening institutions, improving surveillance, and enhancing regional cooperation, that will build resilience and more effective ways to stop traditional transactional organized crimes in the maritime domain. Thank you, and this brings to the end of my presentation, and here are my references.
All right, thank you very much, Fidelis, for your presentation, for representing your group. Group 1, we have 10 minutes remaining as per the notification. But I would like to once again thank all our presenters for today, representing groups 1, 2, and 3. Thank you for sharing with us your answers. One important point that we need to understand is that transnational organized crime depends on the mode of transportation. We've all studied 3 main modes of transportation: sea or water, land, and air. And whatever criminal activities that cuts across borders, it uses these 3 modes of transportation. And for this presentation, we focused on maritime, the sea, and the use of our territorial seas to smuggle drugs or illegal fishing and to smuggle people as well as arms. And it's very important that we, as a nation, and you as future policymakers and lawmakers and leaders of the country, take into consideration these 3 modes of transportation when you're sitting down to look at strategies or ways where we can mitigate or address transnational criminal activities. And we are blessed to be at a level that is not serious like Fiji. Fiji is now a transit hub and a major hub for drug cartels from Latin American countries, and as well as America, transporting the methamphetamine and cocaine to Fiji and then down to New Zealand and Australia, the 2 lucrative markets in the region. So PNG, because of our distance, we're just getting 1 or 2 people coming through with the yachts and boats and all that. So it's something that we need to look at and prepare in advance when we see, when we experience an influx then or increase in drug smuggling, then we know exactly how to deal and prepare ourselves to address the issue. So thank you for contributing to the conversation and adding to the discussion. And that brings us to the end of our session for this morning. We'll move on to the next session. So thank you all for attending and see you again in the next session. And if you have any questions, comments for our presenters, please share in the discussion forum.